And I am back, you guys. Look who came to join me for Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8, Episode 4. Recap and review. Mrs. Best is back, y'all. She is here.
Good afternoon or evening.
Yes. So, once again, I want to welcome everybody back to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Review. This is your boy, James. I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. And it ain't gonna happen this video, not even in the slightest. So I want to come back to say I know I forgot Wendy's friend's name in my last recap. I want to bring it up now. Her name is Kiana. She owns a little health spa and down the road from where they were eating at. So I wanted to make sure I didn't disrespect her because I think she's gonna be my favorite friend of the show, considering what happens towards the end of this season that I cannot wait for. So let's go ahead and get into this live, y'all, because a lot didn't happen, but a lot happened, just to say at least. So the episode starts off with Aneka going to go pick up Dr. Ike at the airport. So you guys know he's a traveling physician. I wonder if he does Doctors Without Borders, because if he does, he get a nice check for that. But she picks him up from the airport, and when they get in the car, he then talks about, or excuse me, Aneka talks about meeting up, and then being introduced to Wendy and also the drama that is following about her mama so-called putting this hex on her, which is so bad. Like I wish she did not go this route. I have an idea, and I'm going to share that with you guys towards the end of this because I have an idea of what actually happened in that conversation based on the little snippet that they showed in this scene. So the cousin, they showed the snippet of the cousin telling her that Wendy's mom did reach out to her. Pretty much the cousin was confused on why this was happening. And then we're like, I'm not confused by it at all. But once again, I'm going to share my opinion at the end of this video. So y'all make sure y'all stay to the end. So Aneka also brings up the fact that Wendy's husband, Eddie, used to go to college with Dr. Ikena. Now, I was like, I don't know if I necessarily believe they were in college all throughout the same years. I don't believe that for some reason, just because I know there is a slight age difference between the two. Also, I want to pull out the simple fact that I think that that is the stupidest thing that America has stooped to when someone unfollows you from social media. Who the fuck cares? Is the attitude we need to have when someone decides to unfollow us.
Yeah, I agree. People unfollow me. Sometimes I lose subscribers. I lost a subscriber when I logged on today, and I was just like, huh, and kept it moving. But I think it depends on how secure you are as a person, one. And then two, I noticed that for those not in that younger generation, like Gen Z and some of the millennials, I feel like for those who are like considered some form of a public figure, whether you expect them to be an A or D list celebrity, I think that those are the people who care. But in my opinion, without getting into it deeply, I think the University of Maryland, that's where Aneka is saying that her husband went. That's where Eddie went. That's also where Juan Dixon went. And I mean, they are in the Potomac. For those unfamiliar, the Potomac surrounding areas is DC and Maryland. So I feel like NECA is probably trying to use the fact that they all went to the same school as a way to like maybe get onto the show or have relevance. Because I mean, I just can't see someone in African clubs together acting like they don't know each other. But that's all I'll say there. The school is relevant, but I do think you're right in that they're not giving us the full truth. Half of this cast went to that school. So, or an HBCU. And the closest one is Howard. So, yeah, just kind of looking at
Like I said,
everybody.
something's not right with this story. And like, I don't know. I just have a hard time believing that they really were Facebook friends. I don't know. Something about me just does not believe that. I believe that maybe they followed each other, but maybe they weren't necessarily friends on Facebook. That can also be true too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's something not right about this story. But
I
anyways,
have lots of people who follow me on Facebook who
Right.
are not my friends. Uh, I am a digital creator, so a lot of it is from that. But there's some people that me and James both know mutually. We're not friends, but we follow each other, or I don't follow them and they follow me. I don't. Again, there should be no big deal. Who cares? It's an
Who
app.
cares? Like, yeah, it's exactly. So moving on from that, Giselle and Robin meet up for lunch to, kind of catch up and talk. They were at that time in Atlanta doing a pop-up shop for their vlog that they have together. So in the midst of that, Giselle brings up to Robin how Juan yelled at her about the accusations that are surrounding him. And Robin fixes her mouth to say, "Oh, Giselle, he didn't yell at you. See, the problem is he's deaf in one of his ears. So it sounds like he's shouting all the time." And that came from, him coaching basketball. And I said, Robin,
And the other basketball coaches, the many hundreds who have had reality to listen, Juan Dixon is the first one in the history of any sport that I've heard of who, I don't know. Maybe he got hit too hard. Maybe she thought he played football. I don't know.
well, so let me ask Robin a question since we added. So, Robin, what was his excuse for not yelling at you then? Because we didn't saw him episode one, episode two. I didn't see him yell at you aside from the "I don't care." Outside of that, he seemed very poised to me and seemed like he was having great conversation. So I'm trying to figure out, for me and my perception of him, where did that come from? Because that sounds stupid coming out of your mouth.
Let me explain something though.
Hmm.
Robin, this is why people don't like you, baby. This is exactly why, because as a woman to a partner, whether whatever gender, whatever sex, to a partner. I'm not talking about marriage. I'll be damned if my husband yells at any of my friends. I don't care if they're single, straight, polka dotted, married. Why is your spouse yelling at your people and having conversations and stuff like with your people alone? Robin should have been part of the conversation. If she was part of the conversation when he started yelling, she should have apologized and asked him to stop. And if he did not stop, then continue to apologize or escort your friend out. But Robin doesn't know how to be an adult, in my opinion, outside of paying bills and keeping the
I
kids
just
alive.
think the things that she says to excuse his behavior when it's bad is just so, like, I'm literally dumbfounded by the shit that she says. Like, I cannot believe that she would fix her mouth to say, "Well, he can't hear in one of his ears," and that is the excuse that
Watching
she
this
used.
man for seasons, and this has never come up.
Right?
So don't
Yeah.
expect us to suddenly believe that after he's been caught in the laundromat and the nail salon with another hoe, that now his hearing has somehow been impacted.
She had excuses for that
Look,
too,
my
and it was
husband's
like,
laughing in the background, like hell, no. Like this is impossible. It makes no sense.
it's so stupid, and I'm looking at Robin like, "You just gonna continue to play on this?" Like, Bravo in this call center.
Get rid of her, please.
I am so what? Why is Robin so valuable to y'all?
She's
What
a
does
bad
she?
example too. The
Yes.
young women. I started watching the Housewives when I was in high school in the ninth grade. So that's 14, 15. This is a bad example for all young girls, for all people. Okay. Robin is failing women at this point. I'm just watching her like, you had to feel embarrassed. He felt comfortable enough to knowing that he's a public figure. This is even different than regular cheating. He knows that where he goes and what he does will be followed and documented, even if he's not doing anything nefarious. So the fact that he still chose to go out with this girl who did look like Karen is it's wild. That's it's kind of like having a baby while you're with someone else. Like it's just like the lowest of the low. He had no regard for her or his kids. And I feel like Robin's dumbass will probably fix herself to say, like, well, I have to think about my kids. You know,
Hmm.
housewives do that, but you're raising sons. Like, are you really going to teach your sons that this is okay, and that if they do something
Right.
like this, that every woman is going to maybe not forgive it? They're probably arguing and tearing the house apart, but going to protect the man's image. Like, she's sending the wrong message to her kids, to viewers, to what something's. I really, as a psych major, want to sit down with Robin with the DSM
Oh,
5
please.
and
Yes.
just look into some symptoms because something's wrong with her.
Shout out to Nia Green. Robin is a bona fide fool over that man. Absolutely, Nia. Absolutely. Because there is no way I'm going to allow somebody to embarrass me on a syndicate, national TV, international TV, because they play this in other countries as well. There's no way. And when she opens her mouth and she defends this man, it's like, wow, like, damn. You every man's dream that do some sneaky shit. I promise you, you every man's dream.
Yeah, yeah.
I promise you, you are. So, y'all, yeah, I'm done with Robin. I can't take no more of this conversation. I promise y'all, because it makes me lose brain cells. Heard this whole ridiculous ass fucking storyline. I can't believe
James could not stand Robin.
I cannot. Like when I tell you I was so done with Robin season 2, and the fact that she kept getting that contract renewed, I'm like, bravo. Like, what are y'all seeing that
She
I'm not?
kept getting that contract renewed.
She did. She kept getting that contract renewed. They were supposed to realistically, I heard a buzz that she was supposed to be let go the season Monique fought Candace. She was supposed to be let go then.
She was.
And I remember reading that, and I remember thinking, y'all should have just did it anyway. Who gave a fuck that Monique wasn't coming back? Like, y'all should just did that anyway. But anyways, let's move on, because I don't feel like even talking about Robin. This is stupid at this point. So Karen throws an event, and it is called pickleball. I've never heard of this in my life.
The rich love it. They've played it on.
Okay. So Rick, that's why I never
It's
heard of
been
it.
like a thing across Bravo shows too. I know on Vanderpump Rules they had a whole pickleball tournament, and then there was
Yeah, I don't
something
watch that
else
show.
I
That's why I
watched.
didn't know what it was. That's why I was like, what is pickleball? But
Usually white
anyway,
people like that game.
oh, I'm not that rich, so I guess one day and I'll learn how to play when I am. But anyways, moving on from there, everyone starts to show up, and what was so funny that one of the comedic moments of this scene is when Candace said, "What? Ron Dixon is here? He ain't over there being a ghost in the Himalayas." I freaking hollered when she said that. I said,
Playing for
"Oh
the
my."
Himalayas.
I said, wait a minute, you is crazy for that Candace. I love Candace, y'all. I know a lot of people do not like Candace. I get it. Like I understand her a lot. I do. She is one of my I would say my top like 5 housewives. She's top 10. If I had to choose a top one from this, like you know how Mary Cosby is my favorite from Salt Lake and Sutton Strike is my favorite from Beverly Hills. Katie actually was my favorite on Potomac.
Oh, we need
And
to pray for Katie.
we do. We need to pray for
Yeah,
Katie, y'all. I would
really
love to see Katie
struggling.
back on. She is. I would love to see Katie back because Katie held these had that foot on that neck, especially Giselle's, and I was here for it. So the girl Karen splits up the ladies playing the pickleball game. I don't. It looked like she was trying to. I didn't want to call it badminton, but that's what it reminded me of. If you ever have a double team of badminton, but she has the team that starts shit, and then the other team, I forgot what that team's called. The finishers, maybe? I
I
don't
think
something
so.
like that. Something like that.
Something silly.
So surprisingly, she had Mia, Wendy, Robin, and Aneka on one side. And she had Giselle, Candace, Ashley, and herself on the other side. And honestly, if I had to pick a team of who I was going on, I was going over there with Aneka and Wendy and all them. I was not going to be fooling with Giselle and them. What team would you have been on, Mrs. Best?
The team with the Africans. I'm African. I can say that, okay?
Not the team with the Africans.
Listen, the
Okay.
people are gifted, and I can say it. I'm one of them. They gifted. God
Yeah.
damn it.
Because they was whooping their asses on that
And
court. I said,
also, you don't want to be on any team with Robin. Huh? Oh, the ball went? Oh, I don't want to deal with
no,
that.
see, Robin would have been the tie. I remember back in high school, you know how we play volleyball? So for those who do not know, I was bullied a lot in high school. I was bullied a lot.
Show was.
And when I tell you volleyball was one of those sports where I could get away with hitting somebody in the head with the ball and not get in trouble for it. So that's what I did. Like, and I was always in a PE class with my bullies. I don't know what that was about.
You should have took
Dodge,
dance.
huh?
You should have took dance. I did
I
not
won't
take
see. I
PE.
wasn't gay then, so I couldn't have did that. But it was one of those situations where I was like, dang, I wish I really could have. So, like, one of my bullies actually does favor Robin a little bit. I'm not gonna say who it is, but they do favor Robin. So Robin probably would have got hit in the back of the head on accident, and I'd be like, "Oh, girl, I'm so sorry, but that was the revenge for your ass." But yeah, no, moving on, y'all. So they, the ladies sit at the table because the games are over, and Karen's whole objective was to do an exercise to help mend the group's dynamic. And immediately, before Karen could even get this situation out, Aneka takes this moment to confront Wendy. Or was it the other way around? Wendy confronted Aneka. I think it was one of them. And I'm telling you, one of them confronted, I don't know who confronted who first, but
I'm laughing at the comment.
oh my god, I freaking love you already. Like I really do. She be showing us so much love, y'all. Shout out to my subscribers, but definitely shout out to Niagara because she definitely comes and shows her support and love. We love you. I was on the volleyball team, so I understand the popping people every blue moon. Absolutely, that's exactly what I did at every turn. Dodgeball was a little bit different. Dodgeball, I couldn't because there's not many moments where you can hit the person on your same team. There wasn't very many moments of those. But volleyball, absolutely. I was that person that hit that girl in the back of her head on purpose, even though I said it was an accident. And I was clumsy back then, so I could get away with it. But so we're gonna go with the NECA confronts Wendy about her mama calling her cousin-in-law about, you know, saying that she's using Wendy's name and all this and that. And Wendy, you could tell Wendy knew about it because she kind of had a pausing moment. And what I had would have liked Wendy to do, this is where I'm going to hold Wendy accountable. What I had liked Wendy to do in that situation is says, look, Aneka, I told my people about you based on something that Ashley told me in a conversation at our house when I first met you. But because Ashley and I had a moment after that where she told me that she misconstrued what really happened in the conversation between you and her, the damage was already done. So I want to apologize to you for whatever my mom had done, but I still feel like in this way, me, you, and Ashley need to have a conversation, maybe that is not here. So that way we can kind of get on the same accords. I would have much rather Wendy do that. Now, the fact that Wendy did not do that makes me feel like there's more history here that we do not know about. Now, mind you, if you guys watch my other recaps, I said I think they're related. I really do. They're giving the cousins that are associated with each other, but not associated like because one has probably more money, the other one's probably considered lower class. We have like where me and Mrs. Best are from, we've seen that. We've seen in the African cultures they do beef a little bit. It's not always, but it is over. It usually was over in our hometown over territory and land because somebody wanted to open up some kind of shop or some sort of restaurant or some sort of convenience store. But what they'll do is they'll make sure there's no other family members or other Africans on that same block because they don't want to deal with competing with one another. So that's usually how that works out. So this is what this is reminding me of.
I think
How do
separate
you
from
feel?
them being potentially related, this is why people are on the fence about Wendy. I know sometimes people like to make it about colorism and things like that, which I think this show does struggle with. I think the bigger thing with Wendy is whenever she is in any type of situation where it requires her to take accountability for something that's not positively viewed, she lies, bullshits, and insults people's intelligence. And Why do that when you could have said exactly what James said just now? And I keep seeing that online and forums and groups. Like people keep commenting like they're both dumb because number one is Africans, you women should be coming together. As black people, we gotta do better on TV anyway. We do a lot of fighting on TV, but we
Mhm.
struggle to come together. And then two, Ashley's big faux-headed ass is the one that started the mess. She admitted to starting to the mess. And when they talked about it, Ashley even tried to come in and say, I should not have said that. So all they had to do to end it, as James said, is bring up Ashley, but they're not doing that. So I'm looking at Wendy, and I do think when you hear something over and over and over again, there's some truth to the story. Where there's smoke, there's fire, that type of stuff. And we keep hearing that Wendy has a habit of having Happy Eddie to unfollow from booty models to doctors that travel now. So I'm just saying it's
We'll get to
starting
that in a second
to
because
look
I
like
yeah.
Wendy is a little guilty. But either way, NECA should not have brought up shit that personal, like about families in a group setting,
I agree with that, and that's what was
really
going to be
on
my next
camera at
point.
all.
I feel like now on Aneka's part, and this is where I'm gonna deem her as. So what I'm gonna say about that about Aneka, I don't believe that that story happened in that context about the cousin telling her that Wendy's mom tried to put a hex on them. I don't, and let me tell you why I don't believe it. Because when we first heard this story, go back to the last episode, Aneka told Robin not to say anything despite them being filmed. So when she said that, anytime someone says, don't tell anybody despite the circumstances that it could get out, that means you're misconstruing the story. Because if you're not, because if you are worried about it getting out, that means you're worried about someone actually knowing exactly what was said. And you're trying to get your version out first before it actually happens. So I kind of feel like in that context, I don't believe that story happened that way.
No, it didn't. I agree with what you said. If you say don't say anything, that means you don't want the person, in my opinion, who you speaking about to hear it. And if you're telling the truth, then what's the problem with them hearing
With
it?
them knowing about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
if that's your truth, then there's no problem with Robin taking it back and telling it around the whole group.
Because you know
Now,
she's
what
going to say something, and if she doesn't, you said this while being filmed.
yeah, it's going to come out one way or the other. So it's
Hmm.
like you were better off inviting Wendy to the lunch with y'all and saying, "Look, this is what your mama did," and saying that. Now, what I really believe happened, because there's a young lady going around on TikTok right now that kind of gave context about what she believes was said, and I actually agree with this. She feels like two things happen. Well, this is what the young lady said. She feels like the mama was just calling of concern. Like, have we not prayed together? Have I not looked out for you? Like, what is going on with this young lady approaching my child and all this, and giving her all this aggression and coming after her accolades, and everything. What is all this about? So that's one thing. The second thing is that I feel like in the context of that conversation, when Wendy's sister is brought up in this situation, I feel like the sister was saying, I have no problem with the girl coming on the show, but make sure because we have family ties, make sure that she doesn't just exert and uses Wendy's name for the clout to get in good with the girls, all to ostracize her out because we know that that's why she was brought on the show. Bravo and that call center, we're not stupid. We know that y'all brought a nigga in to phase Wendy out. And see, and that's what I'm telling you. Wendy is very educated and very bright, and she is very, no, I'm not gonna say astute because she's not. She is very well spoken, but Wendy lacks true, genuine common sense. Because my first reaction, if I saw somebody from my same neighborhood, same high school, because I'm not from a tribe of, I don't know what tribe I belong to in my African ancestry. But if I'm just saying, put it in the context where it could be all relatable. If I had somebody from my same high school who I may know of, I may not know them specifically, like they maybe not have been a friend of mine, but I knew who they were. And I'm on a TV show where I've been on there and I have a lot of public recognition. I will feel a certain type of way if I'm the only demographic of my kind on this show and y'all bring another demographic just like me on the show. We know that in regular white people's networks that have this, there's generally not two strong black people that have the same characteristics and style and from the same, outlook of life. That never happens. So I would feel a way and I would pay attention. But what I want Wendy to do, and I tell you guys all this, I tell people all this time, I wanted Wendy to band with this girl to ice out the other women because y'all could have turned the tables. You, Wendy, Aneka, Candace, have a friend of the show, Kiana. They could have changed the whole dynamic of this game.
That's why I think that Wendy kind of needs to go though, because when you're the type of person who anytime she has an issue with any person on the show, she holds on to it to such extremes and for so long that for me it gets a little tired of watching. It's like, okay, we get it, you don't like these people, but you still have a job to do. I feel like Wendy takes a lot personally. Everyone on this show's family's been talked about, or money status, relationship status, but
Mhm.
when it happens to Wendy, she's freaked out like more than anyone. And I didn't think anyone would freak out more than Karen when somebody came for the institution, as she says. But Wendy has gone, I think, and held it for too long. She's got to learn how to read them for filth to defend herself, and then keep it moving and make them uncomfortable by being joyous. Because I'm just a little tired of angry Wendy. If you're that angry, if you're that miserable, if you don't like these women, if everything that happens, I mean, she's had issues with other people. Her mom hasn't gotten involved. Now her mom is involved. So that tells us, yes, you do know this person. We don't understand why you're still lying about it. And it's it's just weird. I just want Wendy to do a
It
little
is
bit different
strange.
because she is valuable. It's nice to have a smart black lady on the show, but
And I agree with that. It is refreshing to have this type of representation on TV. However, I do agree with you when it comes to her just going to the extreme and not knowing how to mirror her feelings to not make it seem like you're proving their point. You're proving Giselle's point about you. You're proving Robin's point about you. And I'm gonna tell Aneka while we here and while we at it, Aneka, you might think by tee-hee-heeing with Giselle, Robin, and Ashley over there,
trust me.
that you may think that that may be working in your favor. But baby, let me tell you something. Wendy had that same thought a few seasons ago, and they turned on
Mhm.
their ass as quick as they could. So
Yep.
you might want to be careful and tread lightly when it comes to trusting them three heifers, because when I tell you they gonna turn on your ass and use how aggressive your husband was in another instance, trust me, that's exactly what's about to happen. And I
Yep.
hate this for you because, as I said, I like Dr. Ike. I do. I knew who he was. I followed him before he even was on this show. Real stand up dude. And I hate, and I'm about to go into the Facebook thing, and I hate that they depicted him this way because that's only about to get worse. That's the opening floodgate to label him. And I do not like it. But what I'm gonna say about the whole Facebook thing, as I said in the beginning of this video, someone unfollowing you off Facebook, Instagram, social media, just in general, that is very fucking stupid to get mad about in under any circumstances.
I don't feel like he cared though. I feel like just like people say Wendy running Eddie, I feel like Nneka has a little more control of her
No,
relationship.
she doesn't, and I disagree
I
with that.
personally feel like she does in certain areas. I don't feel like men too much care about socials. I feel like she might have noticed it because they were trying to come onto the
No,
show.
I think she manipulated it. No, absolutely. If we're talking like that, no, I definitely think she manipulated the situation to work in her favor, where she made that seem like that was the ultimate disrespect. I guarantee you she did. But the problem that I have with that, in with that same sentiment, is that the fact that he played into it, it makes it even worse. And the fact that he turned around and screamed at her to stop in the way he did that, that was also very telling. I didn't like that either. I didn't like the fact that, one, y'all have these four African, identifiable people here screaming and hollering at each other over some Facebook followings. all for y'all to turn around and go, because you had some over here saying, "Oh, he's angry. Oh, look at him. Oh, I didn't know he like that." And then you said, "Look at," and then you have Robin over there with her brand new ass talking about, "Oh, Wendy's over there deflecting. Look at her and stuff." And I'm like, Robin, if you don't shut your ass up, because deflection
It's
is
you. You
not
are
something you
deflection,
should be.
Robin.
Deflection is not a word you should be using. Because anytime you say deflecting, someone should hold a mirror and say, look in it. I'm just saying, I did not want to hear that from Robin. I really did not. So, and like I said, this is really, you guys, I'm like, I want this to be a fun video. I really did. But as I said, I do not like when circumstances like this, Bravo, it just in general, I do not like when they do this. This is so bad. Ashley, you need to get rid. I hope by the reunion time, because I know Aneka is popping off on Instagram right now. So I hope by the time the reunion plays,
Listen, the people at fault in this situation, though Wendy obviously lied, bullshitted about something, the biggest thing that bothers me in this situation is that somebody had the audacity to bring up someone's mother. In my opinion, you shouldn't bring up or talk about people's mothers and children. And then, two, people should be mad at Ashley too, because to bring up a negative the negatively viewed part of a culture, religion, all of that your narrow ass has no knowledge about and doesn't belong to was super, super irresponsible. And then the comments that Ashley made at the reunion too when addressing colorism, the girl is a dingbat. And I'm surprised people aren't more upset at her for starting the shit. But definitely, NECA, regardless of what you feel, when you talk about people's moms, and the
yeah, you
things
calling that lady's mama a
her
witch
mother is
was
a witch. Bitch,
that was
we
out of
white.
line. That was out of line.
I'm
Like
like,
you were out of
really?
line for
We
that.
would have
Like
forgave you if you
I,
smacked her.
I still feel like she's redeemable. She isn't that far gone yet.
She's
But,
not, but I'm just
but
like,
the problem is that you need to apologize for that. Like you need to
yeah.
apologize for calling that lady mama a witch, whether if it's true or untrue. I do not care. No one deserves their mother to be called a name like
Yeah.
that. And that's pretty much it, y'all. I'm not gonna spend this it because, as I said, I wanted this to be light and funny, but this actually ended up being the whole time of Real Housewives of Potomac that it has been on this, franchise on Bravo. It has always been every season after season about color and
Mm-hmm.
about race.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no longer fun when it is blatant that there's colorism on this show. There is classism on this show. There's all these different, emplacements of life on this show. And y'all are steady focusing on this being an issue. And I do not like it because I can't enjoy, you know, Wendy taking her kids and celebrating her cultures, and I can't enjoy Giselle and her daughters. One going to college.
I will say
Benevolent Karen.
Karen's little commentaries, I think, did save everything because I legit spit out my food laughing at Karen. We heard, what the hell is Robin wearing? We know that Juan doesn't want it. Karen went in. She said Juan's big ass knocked over.
Oh, he knocked over that food. Karen got mad as hell.
Karen was funny as
She said,
hell.
"Why
So
we got?" She said, "Why we got problems now? You gonna
Mia
knock over
trying to
my
talk
food?"
to what is her name?
I didn't to Wendy. I didn't even.
Wendy.
I didn't even
Wendy
want to talk
talk.
about
I
that
didn't
because
understand. I didn't.
I said, like I said in my last recap, Mia pissed me off with that whole when Wendy called her slow. How she likes to bring her family members in to try to deflect that
Mhm.
comment. She did the same thing with Candace when Candace said your mama was low class. That shit pisses me off. So I didn't want to talk about that because I'm not featuring Mia this season. Mia can go somewhere. I'm not even no, because Mia pisses me off because Mia does this shit all the time and it's annoying. But that was pretty much the recap, y'all. That was all. As I said, we're holding out that these two women will band together and ice these other women out. Bravo up in that call center. I need y'all to feedback headquarters and I need y'all to let them know we do not want to see Robin next season. I will say this every recap if I have to. We do not want to see Robin Dixon next season. Let this be her last season. Like we say with Sheree Whitfield, let this be Sheree's last season
And
on
the
Real
beauty,
Housewives
they
of
both
Atlanta.
sell clothes. Let Robin sell her hats and Sheree sell her sheen. And may we all be left the fuck alone with both of them. I'm tired of
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. So that was it, you guys. We're gonna go ahead and end this live, and then we're gonna talk about the very explosive Married to Medicine episode that it was. I have never laughed so hard in all of my life. I promise you. So that was it. Once again, we appreciate you, Nia Green. Thank you for being so active in our chat. We definitely appreciate it. We love you. We thank you all. For those who popped in and out, we love you too. Make sure you tell a friend. Make sure you tell them about us. We are trying to grow our platforms, y'all. We are trying. This is hard, but we
It's so
thank you so
hard.
much. It is. It's really hard. Thank you. We'll see you guys on the next recap, you guys. Bye
Bye,
bye.
Bix.